Alright guys, what is going on? Oink here, and today we got a brand new set of seasonals. We're back for the second iteration of Classic Muscle Car Championship. As usual, we'll be going into all of the events, entry requirements, the car that I use, all that kind of stuff. We'll start off with 500 performance points, tyres, sports medium, 1980s or earlier, and of course has to be from America. We've got Grand Valley East Trial, Mountain Circuit, Special Stage, Route 5, single lap of the Nordschleife Nürburgring, and a Toscana Custom. The car that I chose to use is the pretty beastie looking Ford Mustang Mach 1. Rarely driven this car in GT5, so I kind of saw it and, pretty much had to take it. You can take the sports medium tyres, pretty grippy. I took the fixed sports suspension, all of the upgrades there, and 15, 25 and 20 on a custom LSD, which really helped. Definitely take the fully customizable because that will put you up from a 4-speed to a 5-speed. I used anywhere between 162, 168 and 174 on the max speed changer. Then buff up the performance points to 500, and because I hadn't driven this car much, it slowly broke itself in as the races went on, so I had to turn the power down on the power limiter, so just keep that down to 500 performance points. I'll crack straight in then to Grand Valley East. Probably the most challenging of the lot. None of them were too difficult, but actually a very overall fun event. I actually enjoyed driving this one. As I said, in terms of actually getting a goal, this was the only one which I really was challenged. I started off with pretty much everything stock, but at 500 performance points, and just lost to the leader by like a second. So I went back in and I put the fixed sports suspension on, and I put the custom LSD on as well, and when I did that I got loads of oversteer, so I adjusted the LSD to the settings that I showed you and I got basically what it is now, and it handles really nicely. Before I put the LSD on, it really had a feeling of it didn't have much response when you put the gas down. The rear wheels just kind of span, and you really felt like it was kind of a bit sluggish when you really wanted your power. But with the slip diff, the limited slip diff, that really helped. You got a much more responsive feel to the accelerator, and a little bit more oversteer, so you will have to work the gas a little bit more finely. You can't just slam your foot down on the exits, but yeah, I mean, other than that, it should be a real nice ride. I really enjoyed driving this car, and Grand Valley East there, you can see, was not too difficult after I made those changes. And we can go straight into Trial Mountain, and another, fairly simple one here. Because I used the fixed sports suspension, it's quite a stiff setup, generally speaking. It's quite firm suspension. And as I said, with the limited slip diff settings, it's got a little bit of oversteer, and all of the bumps and cambers and hills in this track can throw the car off. So, as usual, when you drive this track, make sure you're applying the throttle gently. Try and keep your lines nice and smooth, and have a good flow to the track. It's quite easy to just over accelerate on the exits, and the car just kind of keeps on turning, and then you end up facing the wrong way. So try not to do that. You should be good other than that, though. You can see already taken 5 guys halfway through the lap, and there's another cluster coming up here. You want a good exit out of that corner at the bottom, since you're going uphill, so the better the exit. If you can keep it in third, in fact, if you get that real nice apex in the kind of yellow checkered section, that's the real sweet spot for that one, because of the camber of the hill. You can really power out of it nicely. And then as you come down for this final little kink chicane kind of bit, you should be able to take this in fourth. I mean, just drop into fourth, or if you really want third, but not really necessary. And just if you hit the first apex nicely, you should be able to pretty much go full throttle through the next part of the turn. And I find first at the end of lap 3, and just oversteer a little bit, trying to get round him, and finishing up there on Trial Mountain, which takes us to Special Stage Route 5. And this is the full version. It's not the Clubman route, and probably one of the less interesting tracks of the lot here. You really want to, I mean, this is all about like the accuracy of your apexes. Obviously you really don't want to be hitting the walls. That will, you lose a lot of speed when you clip the walls, so it's obviously something that you want to be avoiding. At the same time, you might find the car understeering a little bit if you don't hit the apexes. Through there you can pretty much go full throttle as long as there's no other cars sort of in the chicane in 4th gear. Just go flat out as long as you hit the apexes. And that's the thing with this track, if you do nail the apexes without hitting the walls or anything like that, you'll find you can actually go pretty fast through most of these corners. But if you do miss the apex and run wide, you might find yourself scraping the outer edge of the track. So yeah, just focus on hitting the apexes. This one's tricky, it's a blind corner there, so turning early, got to judge the turn-in point, and just dab the brakes, bring the speed down a little bit so you got a bit more reaction time, and then aim for that little rumble pad on the inside. And there's the final corner as well. Obviously it's a nice long straight, so you might want 168, 174 or whatever it was, the slightly increased top speed on the transmission for this one, and draft as much as possible for that added little boost. Anyway, taking first place right at the start of lap 4, finishing up a lap later, lapping 134's best. Then we've got a single lap of Nürburgring. As I usually do with these, I'm just going to kind of show the places where I overtook and that kind of thing. The lap is not too difficult, the car handles really nicely. This was a super fun track and combo actually. I really had fun with this one, and I overtook the guy in first about halfway around, so you don't need to worry too much about fine details. I won't go too much in depth with this one. It's basically the Nordschleife. If you know it, then you know it, sort of thing. If not, then you should try and learn it. It's not easy, but yeah, I mean, just don't go full out if you're not fully confident with the track or the car or whatever it is. Turns like this one, a really tricky one to get right until you kind of really understand the corner. And there's a lot of corners around here which aren't easy. But the car, as I said, it handles really nicely here. It's pretty forgiving, doesn't oversteer too much. It has generally pretty good grip with the sport medium tyres. Obviously for the long straight sections you want to draft, and generally a pretty high transmission. I think I used the 170, what was it, I think it was 174 or something like that on the transmission. There you go, taking first just at the end of that huge long flat out section, just a bit before the carousel. And then just the final section after that long straight is one to watch out for. I actually took it in 5th all the way down to the end and then just put the brakes on hard. So there's the Nürburgring. That one I really enjoyed, so hopefully you guys will have fun with that one too. And then there's a Toscana custom, and actually I'm going to say this is got to be one of my favourite custom maps that they've made for a seasonal event. They often make really stupid ones and just really boring ones that are ridiculously wide and just, I don't know. This one was really good fun. It's a 2-minute lap, so it's a reasonably long track, and it's, I don't know, I mean, if this would probably make for some pretty good online racing, I would think. I mean, it's a good fun track. It's got some interesting turns, some kind of off-camber areas where you really got to watch out for oversteer, and then a lot of little kind of bumps on the exit of turns and things like that, which again you got to really watch out for oversteer. So it's got a really, really nice mix of corners, and actually, yeah, as I said, this is probably one of my favourite custom tracks that they've done for seasonal events. So yeah, added to my enjoyment of this particular event, and this car was good fun here as well. If you find yourself with a bit of a lead, you can really start sliding it. You can see there with these like crests of the hills just on the exit, really, really be careful with the accelerator, because that will throw the back of the car out. Your car will kind of feel really light as you get to the top of the hill. You have very little grip, and too much steering angle or too much accelerator will have your car spinning the wrong way. So yeah, a really nice test of skills for this one. You know, watching out for the oversteer and the understeer and trying to hit the apexes nicely. If you miss apexes like that one, you'll find the car just pushes wide and it's real horrible. So yeah, watch out for that. There's quite a long back straight as you come past the start finish line, so obviously if you've got any cars in front of you, then go for the draft. Actually was in 3rd place by the end of lap 1, and then there was a huge long gap, I think, between, or 2nd is just up ahead, and then a big gap between 2nd and 1st. Lapped 158 there. I think my best was a 155, taking both of us going wide on that one. Take first. That's near the end of lap 3, and finishing up the event. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what car you used, how you found it. Other than that, I'll see you guys later. Peace.